Now for the dead trees in the water. This is a trick painting. You have to be careful here. Remember that all the water has to be finished, including the ripples, before you put your trees in. And the trees need to be very dark. So clean your little brush every time before you pick up paint, and make sure you load it with crispy dark paint to get your branches in. And do keep that horizon line very low. Okay, let's see how you go. There's only 3 colours on my palette. There's ultramarine blue, white, and I'm using a little bit of warm red to finish off with the birds. This board is 16 inches by 24 inches. We'll paint this around the outside of the painting. That's quite simple. Just a little bit of ultramarine blue in quite a lot of white. With your 2-inch brush, paint us around the outside of the painting. And then in each corner, while the paint is still wet, blend a little bit of the ultramarine blue into the corners to make them darker. I'll start with the sky. Let's have long brush strokes. This is a 2-inch brush. You can use whatever you wish. The paint's flowing so well today. Very good. Nice long brush strokes there. And you can come down very low with this one. Very low with your sky. It'll give you a lot of distance. And let it just fade out into the edge there. Plenty of white paint coming down. Slowly turning darker as you come down. And as you get towards the bottom, it gets very dark. And here again, let your brush strokes glide off the picture. There, and try to blend them so they slowly change. We're keeping it very dark here and very white, a pure white if we can. It'll take a while as long as you keep working your wet paint, but don't move your brush up and down too much, because if I take it up there, it'll spoil it. So make sure you stay here, moving it backwards and forwards like that. Now I need to clean the brush. I won't get that white along there with a dirty brush. I must have that white. As we work up the top here, I can use this same colour as the side and move it into the middle of the sky a bit and take it over like that. Then darker up the top. I'm using a crisscross brush stroke up here, you'll see. I'm still making sure we've got that curve, because if we have dark in the middle there, our eye travels away from it. We can go dark up here, crisscross, crisscross, and then blend it out into our wet paint. I'm working in acrylics, you might be working in oils, and then you have the luxury of wet paint all day. Not too much blending up here. I have my old round hog bristle brush, and I have some white on one side, that's all, and a few clouds. So all you need to do with the clouds is draw an O. Well, it's a C. It's not an O, it's a C. And we put them on like that, and then brush them in. So let's try that to start with. Come out onto the edge. I've dirtied my brush in the blue, just so it has got blue on it. And then we'll pick the paint up, we'll have another lot of clouds. Round and round and round, round and round. And then brush them out at the bottom. Okay, dark on one side, light on the other. Put the dark down, tilt your brush till the paint comes off, and paint a C. And more, round and round. Be careful, stay up the top. Don't come right down. If you practice your clouds on a spare piece of board, and you practice them with your favourite brush, soon you'll get to the point where you can put clouds on and shut your eyes and do it, like signing your name. It'll become automatic to you. I'll go up there because I don't want them straight across the top. It does become automatic after a while. And you see, I've got this side of the brush, it's got a bit of blue on it, but I'm not using that side of the brush. I'm putting the brush on and I'm turning it until the white comes off. And I'm moving my whole body actually to get a straight line. I have here a new 1-inch brush. It's a nice clean one. Make sure your brush is clean and dry when you do this, and give your clouds one brush over. Make sure it's always in the same direction. So do that all over your sky. Now the next thing we do is the reflections. You'll need to copy me here. We're going to have a lot of trees in the water. Don't have big trees in the middle. The big trees need to be on the outside and the big trees need to be sloping in. And because we're doing reflections, pull them in
that way, like that, and in this way, on this side of the picture. Not too much, just a bit. Don't have them all coming in like this, just a little bit in, like that. That's enough. And with a clean brush, and must be a clean brush, pull it down into the water. You might want to do it more than once. Make sure your brush is clean. That's the reflections. In the background, the trees are much smaller because they're a long, long way away. So we make our reflections just little ones like this in the distance. One there, sloping in, maybe one here. Just little ones, not too many in the middle. We'll keep away from the middle. That seems to be a big one. I'll show you later what to do if you get a big one you don't need. And then again, bring them down into the water. I've turned the brush over. The other side of the brush is clean. And just here, I want to have a little boat. So I'm going to draw something that looks like the reflection of a boat there. There. Now with that little brush, pull it down into the water. Now this is the most difficult thing in this painting. With my painting knife, I just touched it in the wet paint down there on my palette. And I want to make straight lines. They must be horizontal lines. If you want to, you can use some device like a ruler, but make sure your lines are parallel with the bottom of the painting. And I'm going to put the horizon line in now. Now I can draw a straight line because I've had a lot of practice. You need to take your time here. Now if you want to down here, you can put a little bit of zigzag. Not much, about like that. Just as if there's something happening there in the water. We don't know what it is, might be a crocodile. Then we'll paint the trees in. We'll start with this one here. Bring him up. Twiddle him in, just like that. Now that was my little round soft brush. 2 fingers. I force it on and bring it up and twist it around in my finger. Twist it like that. And the paint will come off the brush. Another one here. Here. And of course you lift it off to get the fine line at the end. And this one here, it's out of perspective because it's too far back there. Now if you draw a line from the top of that one to the horizon line, anywhere, it's too high because it starts there. So what we do to fix that, we simply bring it down further and start it down here, there. So the tree starts at a new spot. Then if I touch a white line along there, it even looks more convincing that it's in the right spot. And we have its reflection. I've got dark and light on my little brush. Light on one side and dark on the other side. Turn it so the light is on the top of the brush. I'll draw the boat in right across that tree. That's the shape of the boat. I'll put the seats in, go to the dark side of the brush. Then I'll paint the front of the boat with the dark side of the brush. There. A little wire across. Then turn the brush around and put 2 oars in there. 1, 2. And we can have our boat in front of that tree or behind that tree. I think it needs to go there, behind that tree. Now I'll put a few more branches just here and there, not too many though. Bright red, that's fire engine red. You can leave these out, but I like to put them in. Just little touches to start with, very little bits, and as many as you want to. You can put in here. These are birds coming from I don't know where, but they're coming from a long, long way away. And they're coming in formation, and they're all flying together, and they're coming towards us. That's an M, or a V, that's a bird. Let's have a bigger M here, and another one. I'll put a few in. That's all you need. Don't fiddle around with them. If they're wrong, we can put a branch through them or something. And that might do. I think so.